Hello my darlings, and welcome back to Henford on Bagley. We're back in the area of old New Henford once again today, and we're in the Hamlet of Whittington, where last time we finished off the Everly family's house. Today we're on to a new lot and a new sim. Everybody meet Hettie Langford, the owner of the village launderette. So let's get into game, meet Hettie a little bit more, and make a start on the build. You can use my code BUMPKIN at checkout on the EA app or at sims.com. I receive a small commission from your purchase and you greatly support me and the channel. Thank you so much. Happy Friday, my loves, and welcome back to Let's Build the Worlds. And here we are with a brand new sim and a brand new lot. This is Mabel's best friend. She is called Hettie Langford. So Hettie and Mabel, I think they've been best friends for many, many years. I reckon Hettie's probably a little bit younger than Mabel. Not by a lot, maybe by about 5 years. I see Mabel probably being around early 80s, and I reckon she's just creeping up there. She's in her late 70s, that kind of vibe. So she is the owner and proprietor of the launderette, and she has been for 30 years. And this is the only launderette around, so everybody comes to get their pants and socks washed by Hettie. And not so much her, she just supervises really. She looks out the window just to see if anybody's stealing anything. That's probably as far as it goes. Now Hettie was once upon a time a seamstress in London, all the Sims equivalent of. And she retired to the Hamlet of Whittington a good 30 years ago with her late husband Stanley. Yes, we're going down the routes of dead husbands once again. I'm going to say that they probably lived in a different house on the block, maybe even where the Everly family are. And that's where she lived with her husband, and it was just a little bit too big for her, even though it's quite small. It was just her, and she saw kind of like business opportunity and enterprise with the villagers because everyone wanted to wash their bits and bobs, and not a lot of people have got the room for a washer and a dryer. So she decided to buy another lot in this village and make a little flat above it and have her little business underneath of it to kind of keep things ticking over. And around this sort of time, this is when this is when she met Mabel, so a good 30 years ago. And they've been best mates ever since. I reckon Mabel helped her through the grief of losing her husband, and the two just became as thick as thieves. Now Mabel and Hettie meet for tea every Tuesday without fail to have a good old gossip and a good old bitch about everybody else in the village themselves. Now they see each other often at the shops and stuff, but that is their day, and they spend the whole afternoon with each other. Hettie is a little bit more outgoing than Mabel. She's just as nosy, but she's a little bit more outgoing, and I'm going to say she's a lot more well known throughout the whole world of Henford on Bagley. She often visits the main village and stuff and goes window shopping and whatnot. So she's definitely a little bit more well known, but she is a really, really good friend to Mabel. Like sometimes when Mabel's like certain books of hers are not selling as well, Hettie will go out and buy lots of them just to keep the sort of like book sort of money flowing for her. That's just the kind of friend that she is. Now, Hettie doesn't really want any kind of animal of her own, but she does love to look after the wild animals that are around, the foxes, maybe even some stray cats here and there. So I'm going to make that apparent by leaving like a few like little food bowls and stuff out the bottom of her masonette, we're going to be calling it. But yeah, she's definitely a lovely person. She's, as I said, a bit of a gossip, but she's kind of one of those people that go, I'm not one to gossip, but... And then she just carries on with, you know, a mouthful of hot gossip. I can just imagine it like, I bet she got it like, that young lad of Clara's looks like he needs a good roast dinner and a haircut. Like that kind of vibe. I can just imagine that with Hettie. I really can. I love her. She's a bit earthy as well. She likes her crystals and stuff. So maybe I want to make that apparent in the interiors of her flat itself. But I just adore her. I really do. We love a Hettie. Especially even with those pointy flat shoes that she's wearing there, but that's just Hettie for you. So this is where it's going to be. We're going to be building it here. So the main launderette is going to be on this kind of level here. And then I think what I'm going to do is go back a bit and then build the ground floor of the masonette here with a floor above it too. So it's going to be quite a nice size, I think. I don't know what I'm going to be putting down on the first level just yet. We'll see when we actually get into the build mode, but that's it. Nothing more needs to be said. You've been introduced to the icon that is Hettie, And we are going to go and make a start on the exterior of this build. So then, my loves, here we bloody go. Now, I do want to give her a nice sized garden at the front. We're going to be having a little garden moment here. I think what I'm going to do is maybe just keep this downstairs level to an entrance and maybe some kind of maybe a toilet or a storage room. Nothing too much is going to go on down here, I think. That's what we're going to be saying. Yes, we are indeed. So, can we get these walls on, please? Honestly, the walls are getting so much slower to place down. Look, I do apologise. It's usually a lot faster than this. Okay, and then we're going to go up above with the layout to the flat, the maisonette. Let's pop you all the way down here, my lovely. And I think I'm going to do maybe a small balcony here. I know it would have been nice for us to have a balcony on the back, but I think I'm going to do it on the front just because of the shape that we're putting down. It wouldn't make sense. So that's what we're going to show you. Right, up we go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny is indeed your aunt. Let's flop that down to there. Have a little look at this. Yes. Unsure if I'm going to use this brick yet. I don't think we should because it's exactly the same as this one. Maybe going ahead and using one of the pre-existing ones. Maybe one of these. Yeah, the cobblestone. Again, trying to blend all of this lot into each other so it just looks like it's part of the same village. That is the vibe that I want. Okay, right. Do I want to do a full gabled roof across here? Because this build's going to be right up against here. I think we should. Let's do that all the way across, please. Flaps in, if you will. Pull you all the way to there. And I am going to copy this one and do another one of these on the front. But probably make this higher or lower. Let's get it mapped into place first. Higher. And then what I'm going to do is drag that one in. So it kind of meets there like that. Is that meeting? It is. Okay. Yeah, we can make this work. We can indeed make this work. I think what I'm going to do is put a bit of a modern window on the launderette itself. I think I want to go down that route. I do. And we are going to putting in a mossy texture on top of this. Maybe going for that brown. Yeah, no, we'll do that. We'll pop this one on there. No, I don't like that. I think it needs to be a grey. The grey's so light on this one. I really hate it. And this one, it's not too bad. I think there's a bit too much of a different colour to everything else, though. Yeah, it looks weird. If you see me always looking over here, I have got another monitor, and they do differ in colours really, like, a lot. And I used this one before I bought my new one that I'm using, so I always go back to check that one. Just wanted to let you know that. Isn't that fascinating? Oh, honestly, I know how to treat you sometimes, don't I? To a fascinating fact. I do indeed. Yeah, that looks cute. I like that. Okay. So we're going to be doing a balcony off here, aren't we? Don't know how big I want the balcony. I think it only needs to be a 1 square. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a 1 square balcony. So let's pick a fence. Let's go for this black iron one that came with for rent. I think that's with. I'm not too sure. Let's pop that in anyway. Just so she's got a little bit of a balcony moment there. And I think she is a bit nosy from that balcony too, especially in the pub garden. Would she be able to see that? Oh no, I don't think she would. But she can see who's buying lots of stuff from the village store. So that's good enough. Good enough for Hettie. Yes, it isn't it? Right, okay. So, let's concentrate on the floor space down here. This is going to be the whole space of the launderette itself. That's lovely. And then I want to get up here and figure out a bit of a floor plan for the little flat above it. Okay, so this is the floor plan. I've decided on something different for here. So this, obviously, launderette. I'm going to make this into the toilet for the launderette. So it's got a little toilet in there for them to be able to use. And then this is just a little entrance up to the flat above. So you come up through here. We're going to have access out here onto the balcony. This is going to be a small little bathroom for Hettie. This is going to be Hettie's bedroom that I'm going to be able to, hopefully, fit in a double bed pushed up to the wall and stuff. I think we can get away with that in there. And then into here, it's just going to be a small little kitchenette and a little tiny living room as well. Maybe with just a couple of armchairs. So a very small space, but it's perfect and big enough for Hettie. She's lived here for years. She loves it. And that is the, yeah, that is it. So what I need to do now is pick out some windows and some doors for here. That's going to make all of the difference. So let me get to that. Okay, windows and doors have been chosen. Let's crack on. First up, let's get down to this level and let's do the launderette. We're going to use the same ones that we've used on most of the shops, but we're going to go for a bit of a white vibe here with a blue door. Now, I looked for signage for this place, but it just didn't really, nothing worked. So instead, I'm just going to use some awnings just to make it look a bit shoppy and to stop the sun from glaring through into the laundrette. You don't want to be sweating your tits off when you're washing your smalls, do you? And I'm going to try and line these up. Good luck. Let's pop you there for the minute, and then let's bring you in a little bit more there. There we go. Look, no more, well, slight glitch. I can look past that. And I think that's just perfect. We're going to use these windows that we've used on a couple of the houses. I just think they work really nicely with the style that we're going for here. So we're going to flop that above there. This is going to be the front door going into the masonette. I'm going to pop it right in the middle. And then we're going to be doing a slidey door above on the balcony area. That utilizes the space nicer then because, you know, tight spots, my loves. Tight spots indeed. Come around to this side first. I'm going to be putting this one up quite high, just so it still allows natural light in, but it gives privacy, you know, because there is a kind of outside roof terrace here. I did in the beginning have one here too, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might put it there for now, and we'll see what happens. Into the bedroom. One of these windows into this bedroom, please. Let's have a look at the balance. Stunning. We're going to be doing one down below as well. And I didn't really want to do this, but the house just looked a bit off balance to me. So we've got this window going into the launderette. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. We're going to keep it there for now. I'll decide in the next part. A window going into the toilet, the launderette toilet down below. And then I'm going to do the same window and pop it here. I'm going to move you down actually. And then have that floating on the back like that. I think that'll work quite nicely. So there we are. There's the windows and doors chosen. I think that looks great, to be honest. It very much does. I do want to choose a chimney for here. I don't think I'm going to be putting a fireplace in because it's a very small space, but I still think having a chimney would look quite nice. Let's add in the one that we've got going on over here anyway. If I was going to put a chimney in, it would probably be somewhere around here. But that's a bit of a weird spot. Let's move it just down one there like this. I think we can make that work. Yeah, happy with that. Okay, lovely. Of course, drain pipes, may I say. I'm going to add one in on the side here like this. And I think I'm going to do another one here too. So I'm going to do one off of the balcony. Flop it there. Do we want to do one at the back? We probably need to, don't we? We need to. Details are coming. I think what I'm going to do is break up the build by putting them in like that, though. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. Stunning. Okay, so we need a fence going on here. I might actually go down the route. What did we use on Mabel's? We used that one, which we have also used over here. I think we'll stick with the fence, what we've used for the balcony. I'm only going to be putting it here because I think this build is going to be coming right up and we're going to be utilizing all of this space. I'll put it in there for now just so it makes it look a little bit more attractive, but that will be a wall, so we just need to remember that. We need a trim for that balcony. Yes, we do indeed. I think maybe a white trim like this would probably work. Let me see this. Yeah, let me just try the black, just see what that would look like. That's brown, Aiden. Actually, the black. We'll go for the black trim there. Gorgeous stuff. So let's start getting some details on. I might even go down the route. The camera's going to be all over the show here because of how The Sims is. The end. I don't need to say anything else. But what about putting in a small little circle window up there? Just to make it look like it's got some loft space. Oh yeah, I like that. We'll do the same at the back as well. Flop you to there like that, my love. It is very reminiscent of this build here. Maybe I'll go for a square one instead then. But do it in a darker colour, just so it doesn't match in too much with the windows. Don't know how I feel about that. No, I'm going to do it. I am. I'm popping them in. Beautiful job. Okay. Yeah, happy with that. Let's start getting in all the details for the exterior then. So first things first, I think what I'm going to do is use the same paving as what's on the street itself. Well, that doesn't really make sense. No, I'm not doing that. Let's go for this base game one. Can we get you in there, please? Thank you. Pop it in like that. Okay. Yeah, that's working. We need some drains here, don't we? So let's fly on over. Oh, not a drain pipe. A drain. This is so slow picking up and eye-dropping things, and apologies for this lot. It's only going to get worse, that's all I'm going to say. I don't think we've got many lots after this to build, to be honest. How many do we have? One. I think we've got three. 3 lots after this one. Oh, I've got all of the families picked for them too. I'm really looking forward to introducing one of them in particular, because I think you're going to love them, hopefully. Yeah, okay. I do feel like she would have some kind of flower bed here. The only problem with that is I can't really... Can I move this door just slightly? Just so it's a bit offset? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Well, I can do that then. And then let's get some half walls down. Some small half walls just to make a little planter moment. There we go. Painful. Painful. I'm just going to use that same stone. Wrap that all the way in there. And I'm just going to go for this soil. Flop that in here too. Yes. I might actually move that door just a little bit more, you know, because of that trim. And it doesn't matter because it's still in line with the door above it, so it doesn't look weird. Happy with that. And then I'm going to put in a bush. And I think I'm going to put a wee bush in, but I'm not going to allow... Well, they won't be able to step over this half wall anyway, so that's fine. But I think just having a bush with lots of flowers on would be just what Hetty wants. Kind of like that one. Yeah, let's do that. Little bush down there. Gorgeous stuff. Let's get a gate here. Now, we didn't get a matching gate with this one, but I think this one here would work quite nicely. I'm going to put it over... No, I'm not. I'm going to put it on this side. Yeah. So it's right in the middle, and then we've got space here to put something out there. Right. They meet every Tuesday, so they're going to need somewhere to sit and gossip. So they're going to have a little table with some chairs. Maybe even going down the route of using this one, you know. Yeah, let's do that. Whap it in like that, and then I can tuck that into there perfectly so it fits in, and then they can have, well, they can't really have a nose, but at least they can have a gossip here. Vibing with that, loves. Absolutely thriving and vibing. Let's get one of those mailboxes and flop this over here. Pop you to there, and we're going to go for a white one there, please. Lovely. Stunning bit of work. Let's get out a little white light too. In fact, I'm going to go for black. Bring some of that black accent down. Did I use that one on that one? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, you're here to stay then, my love. Yes, you are indeed. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. There's enough stuff out there for detail. I'm happy with how that looks. Okay. So, coming up to here, we're going to be putting in some tile here, I think. Yeah, maybe like some brown kind of like terracotta-esque looking tile. And I think I'm going to put that underneath of it too. Why is it not going on that bit there? Is it because of this? Let's just do it by room. There we go. Oh, so it's not allowing me to put that on there either. Sometimes. So if we get rid of that, it's there. How did I know that was going to work? I'll tell you why. Just did. Just did. And because Sims. So, if I move this back, will that get rid of the tiles there? No. Good. Thank you. Well, no, I'm not saying thank you, because you're an asshole. Put this back on. There we go. Bit of that. One of them. Gorgeous. Yeah, one thing we do need underneath of here are some corbels. I might go down the route of using these ones, just so it looks like there's a bit of structure holding up the balcony. Yes, let me just trial this one in a white instead. No, that's not going to work. Oh, it has got a black though. Oh no, that's a dark brown. Let's just go back to what we... No. There, to what we had. Okay, happy with that. Lighting up here? I think maybe a different wall light. Just something simple like this, above the door, just to give a bit of light of an evening. Yeah, I'm into that. I'm not going to do too much out here. I think she just comes and stands on this balcony. So that's what I'm going to make apparent here. But what I would like to do is climb up some of those pink base game flowers. Not base game. Not gasebane. Yeah, I think that will work. And maybe... I'm not even going to put planters there. No, that's fine. Yeah, they look a bit copy-paste, though, to me. So what I'm going to do is size one down, just so it looks a little bit different on one side. In fact, I'm going to wrap that around the corner as well. Yes. In fact, I'm going to do that underneath, just so it makes it look like it's climbing up then. That's better. Oh, I like her. Oh, I like her. Gorgeous. And some planters underneath of these windows. I think... What would you look... What have you got in you? Oh, you're perfect. Yes. I'm going to move you to around about there. And just do one on each of these windows like that. Just for some extra detail. So again, it's very simple. I don't think I'm going to do any detail at the back. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's absolutely fine. But I think that's the exterior to this lot. And I'm kind of pleased with that, you know. I might swap out, before we move on, I might not necessarily swap out, but I think this needs some kind of awning on top of it. Let me try what we've used over here and see if I can make this work. Ugh. No, I don't like it. That one there doesn't look too bad. It's a bit big. I'm going to size it down. Did that 0.9 with the tool mod. And then I think I'm going to pick it up so it looks like it comes straight from the roof, maybe? No, I don't like that. It needs to come from maybe there. Yeah, let me see that. I don't like it. No, goodbye. What about instead of putting this flap down just at the front here? Yeah, that's better. That fits a little bit better. What's stopping us from doing it here? Just so it's a little bit different. I'll tell you what's stopping us. Bloody hideous. We're not doing it on that bit. On that bit's fine though. That looks fine just at the front as well. So it kind of like gives a bit of shelter by the door there. Well, there we go. I am much happier with that. Yes, I am indeed. We've got ourselves a little exterior to the launderette. Next time, we're going to be getting into the interiors. So we'll just make a start on all of it and see what happens. But yeah, that's it. Nothing left to say. I'm going to see you in my next video. Goodbye.